Anyway, y'all, happy rapture. All right, Unfug. I'm gonna invite you up, Unfug. All right, y'all, happy rapture. We are here after, we are here after, we did not get raptured. If you're still here, that means you didn't make the cut, bro. I don't know. Like, I think Jeebus didn't like you. You know what I mean? So you didn't make the cut for the rapture if you're still here. If you didn't make if you still here, like you didn't make the rapture. It improves depression and mental health, reduce depression. Hey, get it how you live. Go ahead and request and come on up and we'll talk about that. Yo, I don't like on the comments, especially because since my mic is kind of blocking the way anyway. So go ahead and request on up and we'll go ahead and have a conversation. We'll talk about that more. All right. Who is up right now? Unfug, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good.
All right, Unfug, are you over 18? And do you think you could give me a good reason to believe in a God?
I'm over 18, definitely.
All right, cool. I got 15 minutes on the clock. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What you got? Why should I believe in a God?
You don't have to.
Right. But my question is not about having or have to. My question is, why should I?
Because there are so crazy things in that world. And
if you swiped out, I can't hear you. There you go. All right. Okay. So what were you saying, Unfug?
Sorry, I'm dropping out.
Yeah, you dropped out for a second, but I can hear you now. So what is that good reason for me to believe in a God?
To be honest, the first question for me is, what is God?
I don't know. You have to let me know. You know who believes.
For me, the point is, most religions say that there's an omnipotent God.
Yeah, most religions say there's like the God has omni properties, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, omnipotent,
exactly,
etc. Omniscient.
That's not really what I think, but I have the feeling that if I look at the world and all the species and all the things that happen, and that there's something behind.
Okay, so you think that there's, hold on, everybody gets 15 minutes. Okay, so you think that there's something behind, existence, essentially. Is that what you think God is?
Yeah, it's, if you look at the world, it's so beautiful that there is a creator behind.
Right, I mean, I could agree with you.
Look at the world, look at a mountain, look at the sea, look at the world, at animals.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like my parents are from the country of Haiti, right? And Haiti is beautiful outside of what's going on right now. If you go into the countryside, like where my grandmother and where my grandfather lives, like my grandfather's old like farm over there, my grandfather is buried in a tomb like 1 mile away from the farm. And the farm over there, like we grow like bananas and we grow avocados and stuff like that. But right behind the farm is the mountains. And the mountains of Haiti are gorgeous. They're beautiful, right? My grandmother on both sides of my family, they lived more in the cities. And the cities are actually built into the mountains, right? So at nighttime, you can see fog hanging off the mountain. And, Haiti has lights at night, but the lights are very, very dim, which means that you can see all the stars. You see what I'm saying? So gorgeous, right? Beautiful place.
Yeah.
I love to go back and see. It's been about 10 years since I've been back there, and I love to go back there to see that at nighttime, right? Because in America you can't really see the stars at night. Over there you can, but like all that is gorgeous. When I look into the night sky, like and see all the stars out there, beautiful place, right? So hold on, Jason, it's not your turn. So like I get that, right? I get the beauty of nature. I completely understand with you that you feel a feeling, a euphoric feeling, or you feel how small you are compared to the rest of the universe. All that is good and well, right? You can even get a spiritual experience viewing all that. But what I'm saying is that still doesn't show that a God exists. I can just enjoy the beauty for beauty's sake. Why there has to be a God behind it?
I
No,
can answer
it's not
that
a proof.
specifically.
It's not your
You-
turn,
you
Jason.
want-
It's Unfuck's turn, not your turn. Let Unfuck
You-
go, and then I'll get to you, Jason.
You
Go
won't
ahead,
never find a proof. In the end, it's what you believe. And for me, the difference is maybe God is not omnipotent, but
May I?
No, not yet. It's still his turn. Yo, Unfuck, whenever you get a call or swipe out the app, I cannot hear you. You gotta know that. If you don't come back in a few seconds, we're just gonna move on.
I'm just one of the few people who can actually answer your question. You're gonna love my answer.
All right, not okay. So Unfuck, what were you saying?
sorry, I dropped out again.
Yeah, if you get a call or if you swipe out the app, I'm not gonna hear you. So what are you saying?
I try my best. I mean, if you ask me, I don't see a God like something like that's not questionable.
All right, Unfuck, go ahead and pray for your Wi-Fi. All right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate everybody who are here and who's willing to have the conversation. Please like the live and share it. We're gonna go ahead and move on to Jason. Jason, how's it going? Are you over 18, and can you give me a good reason to believe in a God?
I'm over 43, and I can give you a good reason not to believe in a God, and I can also answer your question very wisely.
All right, sure.
Okay, so you asked the previous gentleman why he said what he said, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to answer that and make it really simple and logical, and just really point out what most people never think about every time they choose to talk about the subject of God and religion. Okay, what is obvious, and I'm just going to point it out to you. If somebody, what you are really doing every time you choose to defend any religion, it doesn't matter what it is, anytime you are choosing to defend the existence that there is a God, what you are truly doing, which you are unaware of, is the fact that you believe that there is life after death. If it just connect the dots. If you choose not to believe that there is a God, you choose to live your life believing that your natural death is the end of your life, and that will make you a lot of times feel scared, feel uncomfortable. And even though a lot of people choose to defend the God concept without historical, archaeological, scientific evidence, they defend it because what they're truly actually defending is their peace of mind, their way of thinking and going through life, which pretty much all comes down to their belief that after I die, there is eternal life, there is something good waiting for me if I've lived my life according to the rules. When in true fact, I see all religions as control and manipulating systems. I agree with the teachings. Yes, I believe we should be good people. We should, I agree with every rule that most religions teach. Be good people, treat others as you want to be treated. But when they turn it into a control and manipulation system, that's where I'm against it. So I guess my answer to what you asked is, why do you support or believe in a God? Because what the man was doing, he was protecting his peace of mind, his way of thinking, which implies there is life after death. Because if truth be told, that's every human being's biggest fear of the day we're going to die. That's my answer.
All right, cool. Do you think that's a good reason to believe in a God, though?
I think it's a horrible reason to believe in a God. No, I don't think it's a good reason to believe in a God.
Okay, cool. W. Hey, I appreciate you, Jason. Have a good night. All right, appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and talk to Kay. Kay, how's it going, Kay? I'll go ahead and put 15 minutes on the clock right now. Are you over 18, and do you think you could give me a good reason to believe in a God?
I'm 18. Is that good enough?
That's good enough. Do you think you could give me a good reason to believe in a God?
Can I ask a question or no?
Sure. Give me 1 second. Felix, how's it going? Are you 18 or over, and do you think you can give me a good reason to believe in a God?
I am 31, and maybe a good reason.
Gotcha. Pause. Gotcha. Pause for real quick. I'm gonna let Kay go first. All right, Kay, let me restart the clock. All right, Kay. 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and talk. What do you think is a good reason, or what was your question?
Why do you not believe in God?
I don't have a good reason to. None
You
of
don't-
the I don't have a good reason to, and none of the God claims have proven their claim essentially. Not Christianity, not Hinduism, not Islam, not Judaism, not Shintoism, not voodoo. None of them have proven their claim.
Okay. So like do you remember like whenever you were in school and like they were teaching you about like history and everything?
Yeah, sure. History was one of my favorite
All
subjects.
right. So yeah, me too. So do you believe that Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and all of them were here?
Yeah, they were all real people.
Okay. So here's like what I'm trying to get at, okay? So if you weren't around, like if you weren't alive in the time that they were alive, then how would you know that they're real? Right?
We have contemporary sources from that time. We can cross-reference them with other historical sources. We have their paintings, we have their dead bodies, we know where they're buried. There are verifiable like contemporary sources for them being alive. Newspaper clippings, their paintings, their autographs. For example, in like we don't just have to go off American history, right? Because America had a war with Great Britain. We can go off of their records, and they, record that George Washington was a real person. The French write that George Washington was a real person. There are treaties signed with George Washington's signature between America and France and trade deals. There are signatures of him being the first president. He signed bills into law. And not only that, we have his body. Like we know where he's buried. So it's like there are verifiable sources for George Washington.
Okay. Can I say something?
Sure.
Okay. So about like the bodies and everything, okay? They like Muhammad and like all them things that claim to be a god, they found their bodies because they're not real. You know what I'm saying? Like they're real, like they probably lived, but they're not like a god or anything. And then Jesus, okay, the reason they have not found his body is because he rose up. So they're not gonna be able to find his body because he's not dead, you know? And then about the artifact stuff, we have the Bible.
Hold on. Wait.
What'd you say?
Can you prove that he resurrected?
What do you mean?
Can you prove that he resurrected?
Well, yeah.
Okay, pal, go ahead.
Can you repeat that, please? I'm sorry.
How can you prove he resurrected? Because we can't go back in time and see it. So how do you prove it?
Well, we have the tomb, then we have people that were there, and then the empty tomb, and then the post resurrection appearance. Then we have his body is obviously not there.
What's up, my Negroes?
There are several problems, right? The first problem that we have is just because a tomb is empty and people claim that he was buried there doesn't mean that it's actually true. That's the first thing. And the second thing is about, the post-resurrection sightseeing or whatever. The only reference we have of that is the Bible itself. We don't have anything outside the Bible that says that he actually resurrected. So there's nothing verifiable there, right? There are other like religious texts and religious sources like Shintoism, right? Shintoism says that, Orochimaru and Tsunade, I know that sounds like Naruto, but those are real Japanese figures and legendary. It says that, they got married and poked the sky with a samurai sword, and it's in their scrolls. Should we believe it just because it's in their scrolls?
Wait, are you asking me a question of like, or are you?
Yeah,
just,
I'm right now. I'm asking you a question. Like, just because it's in a religious text, does that mean we should believe it just because it's in a religious text? Because the only reference that we have for Jesus rising from the dead is the Bible itself. We have nothing outside of that.
No, but that's why it's called faith, is because God does that for a reason, because if, like you, I could have never met you before, ever. And someone told me about you, and obviously I'm going to be like, okay, well, he's probably a real person, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go and follow and do everything that you do. But I have faith that God is real, and that's the whole point. If
Okay,
someone
cool.
doesn't believe
So-
in him, they choose not to, and that's okay.
Okay, cool. So here's two things
Sorry, go ahead.
that I would say. No, number one, it's I would say this, right? Ordinary claims require ordinary evidence, and extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. What I mean by that is, if you were to tell me right now that you have a Yorkie, right, like a dog in your house, that's not really something I'm gonna push you to prove, because people have Yorkies, right? Like that's simple. But if you say I have a Yorkie that can shoot lasers from its eyes, now I should ask you for a little bit more proof, shouldn't I? Right, exactly. And now you brought up me, right? If someone says that I existed, you will probably just take their word for it, because people obviously exist. There are obviously, bald black men with glasses, so it's not hard for you to believe that. Now, if I were to go to you and tell you, hey, Kaylee, I have $50 million in the Bahamas in a beach. I want you to quit your job or quit school, buy a plane ticket to Bahamas, and meet me in Nassau for me to give you half of that $50 million. Are you going to believe that just because I said so?
Probably not.
Exactly. What would you need for you to believe me?
Well, do I know you, or are you like a stranger?
Let's say you've known me for the past 15 years. And I told you I have $50 million in the Bahamas. Go ahead and quit your job and follow me. Let's say we knew each other since high school. Like, let's say we were in each other's 9th grade math class, and we met at the high school reunion. And I said, oh, Kaylee, nice to see you again. I have $50 million in the Bahamas. Quit your job and follow me there. Are you guys going to believe that?
Well, yeah, because I trust in you that you're not going to do me that way and lie to me.
That is a problem. That is a very big problem, because I'm just telling you I have $50 million. You will quit your job and fly to another country just off my word, even if you knew me for the past 15 years.
Yeah, because your word, if you have to think about your word and if it's going to be true, then that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem for you, because why would you do that? I could just be lying to you, right?
Well, I'm saying if you were a good friend or whatever, then you wouldn't lie to me though. And so that's bad on your end.
Yeah, good friends lie to each other all the time. Like, I have one of my best friend, the one who was the best man at my wedding. If he were to call me right now and said, yo, bro, I got $50 million, bro, go ahead and quit, I'm not just gonna believe that nigga, bro. I'm just gonna say, yo, you're gonna have to show me your bank account. Why would I just take his word for it? And I knew this man since I was 7 years old. Wow. And I won't just take his word from it. He wants to take my word from it, because people can be deluded, and worst of all, people can lie, or people can be joking around, so you will really just take my word for it?
That's not a true friend then. But well, yeah, because I trust in you that you're not going to do me that way, and you shouldn't want to do me that way anyway. That's just like with God. I know that he's going to do what's best for me, and that he's never going to do me wrong. All
right, Kaylee, this is a problem, because this means that you take anything without evidence, and that's extremely gullible.
No, I don't, because I don't go out here and worshiping God.
No, you are gullible. I just told you that if you knew me for 10 years and I just told you I got $50 million, you would quit your job and follow me just off my word. That's gullible.
Can I add just
no, not yet, Yogurt. It's not your turn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gullible. That's a problem. I understand that you're young right now, and that seems that, as homies, your word is your bond, but your friends can lie to you. So you shouldn't just take people's words for it.
Well,
but anyway, what I was trying to demonstrate to you, what I was just trying to demonstrate to you is that faith is unreliable. You know what I mean? Because anybody can take something off faith and be wrong about it. Like, you brought up history before, right? The ancient Greeks had 100% faith that Zeus was throwing lightning from the sky. And we know they had faith in that because they built temples to the guy. Is lightning made by a guy named Zeus in the sky?
No,
Right.
it's
So they
made
were
by
wrong.
God.
Lightning is not made by God. Lightning is made by charged ions. It's not made by God.
Hey, host, how you doing?
How's it going, John? Hold on, give me a
Yeah,
second.
but
So I can
that's
turn you.
science.
Yeah, that is science. Why would you not
Oh, sorry.
follow? Yeah, that is science. You should follow what science says, right? Or for the most part.
No, because science is a man-made thing that humans created, which is also by the government, which is trying to distract you from the fact that God is the only way that you're going to make it to heaven.
Kaylee, let me ask you a question. How are you using your phone right now?
What do you mean? I'm using it. I don't know.
Right. You're using it right now. Did your phone happen for you to speak to me over radio waves? What was needed for that to happen?
Engineering.
I guess radio waves. I don't know.
Science, Kaylee. Kaylee,
Yeah,
you
but-
said you said you're 18 and you graduated high school, right?
Yeah. Well,
Right,
like, I'm
so
getting ready
you
to graduate, but I'm 18, yeah.
Right. So you didn't learn about radio waves and chemistry and physics like in the 10th grade? Like, because I learned that in the 10th grade. I graduated in 2005, so I'm way older than you. So I learned about radio waves and
I learned
chemistry
that in
back in the
ninth
10th grade.
grade.
Yeah, you should have learned in ninth. All right. So you know about chemistry, you know
I
about
learned that in ninth
physics.
grade.
Right. So you know about chemistry, you know about physics, you know about genetics. Like the way that you're speaking to me through radio waves happened through science and engineering. So when you say that science is a man-made thing by the government, what exactly are you talking about? You're literally using science right now to speak to me.
Well, there's real
Yeah,
science.
and that's
It's not your
man-made,
turn,
just
John.
like
It's not your turn, John. It's Kaylee's turn. Go ahead, Kaylee.
I mean, I guess robots did, but like man-made created robots, and then robots are creating these phones. Everything nowadays is man-made, like besides like the earth and everything, because God created the earth.
Do you know how to drive, Kaylee?
But yeah, yes, I do.
Do you use GPS?
No,
You don't use GPS to drive.
sometimes if it's like a long distance.
Yeah, okay. If it's a long distance,
Sometimes if it's like a long distance.
gotcha. Okay, so if it's a long distance, you're going to be using GPS. Who created GPS?
What's it called?
Scientists, engineers. A black woman named Gladys West. Well, actually, not Gladys West. I forgot what her name was.
Yeah,
We'll
I
find
thought
out.
you were meaning like
But yeah. So everything that you're using right now, all the tools that are here that you're using to speak with me, even the tool you're using to speak with me right now through radio waves, it uses GPS. So you're literally using science to communicate. You literally use science to drive, but you're saying that it's a man-made plot to make you not believe in a God. That's kind of silly.
No, I believe in God because I have a connection with Him in my faith. You know,
Right,
Like-
but faith is unreliable.
If you have a friend. Okay, but if you have a friend that you've known for your whole life and y'all are really close and you know everything like that, then you're obviously going to have respect towards him or her, whatever it is, and you're obviously going to trust him and you're going to know that he's real because of that connection.
Right. If I have a friend, right, I can physically call and meet my friend. But like when it comes to your God, I can't do that. I just have to take your word for it that it exists.
But I know, like, what I'm getting at is I know that he's real because he's talked to me and I've seen him through, like,
All right, cool.
spiritually. And then I don't know what
Cool.
else it's called,
Cool.
but
He talks to you. Can you talk to him right now and tell him to take off this back of my remote?
okay, your laugh is concerning.
Well, that wasn't me, but can you talk to him right now and tell him to take the back off my remote?
Well, that would just be mocking God, and I'm definitely not going to be mocking
No,
God.
no, it wouldn't, because in Numbers, the prophet, I think it was either Gad or Balaam, or actually Elijah, the prophet Elijah told God to send down flames from heaven in order to light some pillars for the prophets of Baal, and God did it. So it wouldn't be mocking him. All right. Thank you so much for being up here, Kayla. I'm gonna move on now. I appreciate you being here. All right, y'all. We're at 3.4K likes. Let's go ahead and get to 5K likes. Oh, appreciate you bringing me to halfway of my goal. I appreciate y'all. It's gonna be Felix's turn in a minute. Hey, how's it going, Lords? All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and try to get me to 5K likes within the next 5 to 10 minutes. I appreciate you guys being here. I am gonna bring more of you up. I do see Lords. I do see you, Kayla, and the request. I'm gonna bring y'all up in a second. All right. For everybody's watching on my YouTube, I do appreciate y'all. This is the Rapture Scream. Happy Rapture, y'all. Hey, listen, we didn't make the Rapture, y'all. I'm sorry, we didn't make the Rapture. So if you didn't make the Rapture, God don't like y'all niggas, bro. Like he just don't like y'all. You stuck down here with us. You know what I mean? You stuck down here with the heathens. He just don't like y'all. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Felix, you are next. Thank you for being up here. You did say that you are over 18. What is the good reason you think I should believe in a God?
I think the good reason to believe in a God, if you are really, really right wing, so you can do bad stuff all the time, and then say, God gave me the right to do it.
That is a good one. That is a good one. So just to not take accountability for your shit, that's a yeah, sure. If you're a screwed up person, then yeah, that's a good reason to believe in a God. Just say, hey, God told me to do it. That's a very good reason.
That's always the problem. I'm from Germany. We had it from 1933 to 45. In the US, you have it right now. Even here in Germany, we have it right now. We have people in our government, they say, we believe in God and God is the best thing we ever did. And then they say, and now we deport all the people.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's always a thing. Hey, but Felix, I do want to talk to people who disagree, but I appreciate you being up. Definitely give me a follow.
No problem at all. I just want to make a laugh.
Not a problem, Felix. Hey, I appreciate you being up here, man. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All righty. All right. Yogurt, you were up here first. But let me ask.
That was my mistake.
Gotcha, not a problem. Let me ask the cook for one question. The cook, you over 18 or 18 or over, and do you think you should give me a good reason to believe in a God?
Yes and yes.
Well, not you, Yogurt. I'm sorry, I was talking to the cook. The cook, you there? All right, I'll get back to you, the cook. All right, Yogurt, you did say yes to both questions.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you think that good reason is?
All right, so I just want to say that I say yes as an atheist and a very nihilistic and demoralized person, right? I am an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I want to point out is that maybe there is no good reason for you to believe in God, but the girl that was talking just a few minutes ago, maybe there is a good reason for her. And my compassion and my empathy, for people who may be in my position, who basically lack the religious experience that was a crucial part of human societies, and nihilism is not good. It's demoralization is not good,
mm-hmm.
And that is a good reason to have people believe in God, and not everyone is able to have the capacity to only accept evidence and science like me and you. And yeah, so that is basically my argument.
All right. So if I'm not mistaken, your argument is the good reason to believe in a God is because essentially people are unable to live without it. So they should just go ahead and believe in God because they're not able to understand or accept science.
So do you believe that individual people have certain differences, like for instance, height, you could be taller than me, and that is based on things that are outside of our control. And also basically people's like intelligence, just general intelligence, varies as well. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, people's intelligences varies, people's skills vary. Of course, all that is true.
Yeah. So I believe that So I also believe that there is a large portion of the population that lacks the ability or have deficiency in like with their religious experience, basically, like being religious.
Yeah.
And without it, they cannot basically understand the world. They cannot understand themselves, and it is human nature, and it's very intrinsic to us to wanting to know where we come from and where we're going and having a purpose. And these people truly cannot live without that. And I say this because I am one of them, right? Like I find it very hard to deal with life, knowing that there is nothing out there. Like, when I die, there's absolutely nothing. There is a lot of injustice in the world that is just gonna go unanswered, and it's not within my control, and I can't do anything about it. And I'm just nihilistic and demoralized.
Okay, so essentially, your reason is that because these people need a coping mechanism to deal with the finality of life, and without that coping mechanism, they may fall to the wayside and have like really like deep dark issues, and this is probably the only thing that holds them together. In some ways, I can agree with that, right? Like I've always said that if you are a person that believes in a God, and you were to come to me personally and say, hey, me starting to have, slip on my faith, I'm gonna hurt myself or somebody else, or I'm gonna be so depressed that I don't know if I'm gonna be alive tomorrow because I'm so depressed, then yeah, I would say, hey, whip out your phone. Who's your pastor? I'll call them right now. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially you need that. Now, if you're gonna say that if I'm gonna, hurt someone else, then I'm gonna be like, wow, you have issues. You know what I'm saying? But if it's something that personally that you need, I'm gonna let you have it, right? But I don't think that's overall a good reason, especially for me. I think that could be like you need better ways to cope with the finality of life, but I don't think that's essentially a good reason. That just means that you don't have a lot of good coping mechanisms. Does that make sense, Yogurt?
Yeah, that does make sense. But you also have to understand, like, for instance, can I give an example that I don't want to basically make it like as a gotcha thing.
Yeah.
I just want to point it out. Like, the Palestinians right now, who do they have except God? Right? Like, their belief in God. They have absolutely nothing except that. And I think this is a very good reason for them to believe in God. And it's maybe a good reason for the rest of the world to do that as well, because we know that this injustice that is happening, that is extremely like demoralizing and dehumanizing, is, even if we lie to ourselves that like the people who are doing it are going to be punished, they're going to answer for what they're doing. And we really cannot verify. We can, like, it's okay to lie to ourselves sometimes to basically deal with these kind of things. So it's a very complicated thing. It's not just as simple as that. And I truly believe that people like you and me, who are very scientifically minded, very logical, and I personally cannot accept anything except if I have evidence for it. And I believe that this is part of why I lack this religious experience, or it's deprived in my case.
Okay, gotcha. So in your opinion, the good reason would be if you don't have as well as mental faculties as many other people do, and it's a coping mechanism for you, and it's the only thing that gives you hope. That's the good reason.
So it's not just for me personally. Again,
well, not for you. I'm talking about for others. I got you. Hey, Yogurt, you mind giving me a second, because I want to get to the rest of the panel. Hey, Kayla, I appreciate you being patient with me. Minister, I appreciate you being patient. Hey, how's it going?
Happy Rapture.
Happy Rapture. Happy Rapture, y'all. Hey, guys, I did open up the panel, so if you guys want to come up, myself, Kayla, and Yogurt are probably the only atheists on this panel. I haven't gotten to the cookout or minister yet. Cookout, how's it going?
Yo, bro, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate your time and everything, brother.
I wanted to ask this though before I get into what I was saying, because I do kind of agree with Yogurt a little bit. Now I want to say this, like when you say God, now does that mean like when you get into religion, you know, religion has different gods. So we talk about Jehovah, this and that, and third. Because I'm not gonna say I'm an atheist, but I don't believe in any of the religious gods or the books that they have, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do.
Well, I think that sounds like an atheist.
Yeah, but I believe in energy. See, when like if you're doing science.
Okay, so do you believe in the possibility of a God, but you don't have evidence for it? Is that what you're saying?
No,
because there's a word for that.
No. What I'm saying is this, right? So what I do is I could walk outside. You can see creation. You can see the plants. You can see the world. You can see volcanoes. You can see certain things that if it happens scientifically because of like, and I'm not gonna say it like I know all the scientific methods of how to make a volcano, how to do this happen, this and that happen. But I do know that sometimes there is somebody forming some things to make things happen. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying
are you saying that creation, like things existing, is evidence that someone else is creating it?
I'm not saying someone else. I'm not saying someone else. I'm saying the energy. And energy, there's energy forces that create certain things that happen.
Gotcha. Okay, Cookout. Let me
But I don't
that makes sense.
understand.
Yeah.
So I explain like this. So
wait, hold on, Cookout. Let's try to clarify what you mean here. This energy that you're talking about, is that energy deliberate? Like, is it like an agent, like how you and me are deliberate agents? Like, I can pick up this phone case because I chose to. This energy that you're speaking about, is it like that? Is it deliberate? It makes choices?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm speaking is like, okay, so I used to work in a chemical plant, a little chemical spot, right? So, you know, we used to wash chemicals. You got to wash the chemicals. You got to make sure that the chemical parts are this and that third, but it's a certain process to go through it. So there's certain processes that, like, there's a process for you being made, right? You being a man and me being a man, you being a woman, there's a process. We got to have a process, right? So there's a process to everything. That's
being maturing into an adult.
Okay, wait. No. But I'm saying there's a process. 2 adults making a baby. There's a process. You got 9 months in the womb. There's a process. So what I'm saying is this. Okay, the energy, and I'm not saying it's a.
But that's not energy, sir. That's smacks.
Well, okay, man. But I'm just trying to say a point, though, man. I'm like, okay, I got you. I'm just trying to give you where I'm coming from. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, you feel me?
I understand. I'm just trying to get to the. I'm just trying to get.
Speak for like 5 minutes, and he didn't get cut off. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to speak real quick.
Okay. Go ahead. We'll no one will interrupt. Let's let him get all the way out. And Star, I know you had a question, Star, but I'm gonna get to you. Yeah. Cookout. Hold on, Cookout. I got you, Cookout. Let me give you a second. All right, Star. I'm gonna get to you. Just give me a few moments. And Minister has been patient as well, so I'm gonna get to that person. But Cookout wanted to go ahead and land the plane. So Cookout, go ahead and try to kind of flesh out what you're saying so we can understand. No one will interrupt. Just go ahead and flesh out exactly what you're trying to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that when us as humans, right? If you understand there is creation, and I'm not saying there is a conscious being that made this creation. All I'm saying is the energy, because in order for you to make a fire, there's friction. That's energy still. So something is making things happen to actually make things go accordingly the right way. Like literally, if you look at the planet, right? If you look at the planet that we live in, if the planet was moved an inch left, we wouldn't be here on the earth if it was moved an inch left. So I'm not saying it was by a specific person, but that was how it's created. So creation comes from somewhere. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's a God. I'm not saying that this is that, but creation comes from somewhere. That's what I'm saying. And I think to me, the creation comes from the energy that is around everything that we absorb, even from here that we live on, the planet that we live in, all the way to the energy that's outside of our sources that we have. That's what I'm saying. If that makes sense. It might not make sense to y'all, but it makes, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I did a lot of research, but go ahead. That's my plan.
Yeah, I've been down this path before of this energy that you're talking about. You're essentially at the point of being like a pantheist, which is like kind of Spinoza's God. You know what I mean? And I'm not even sure how to explain Spinoza's God because it's very complex. Just like how you're saying that it's not something necessarily deliberate, but it is some sort of force that drives towards life. And we're not exactly sure what that quote unquote force is. You know what I mean? But like for me, essentially what that is just, physics acting upon physics, essentially, or quantum mechanics acting upon physics, acting upon chemistry. That's really all it really is. And I wouldn't really call that a force or an energy. That's just, how quantum mechanics work. We don't know why it does that, but it does. Give me a second, all right, Cook, because I do want to get to Minister, Star, and Stanley. Star, I know you had a question for Yogurt, but before we get to that, I just want to ask Minister a quick question. Minister, you over 18, and did you want to give me a good reason to believe in a God?
Yes, I'm 34, and my reason was...
Okay, wait, one second. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Stanley, how about you? Are you over 18, and do you think you have good reason for me to believe in a God?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. I got you. All right, Minister, go ahead, and then Kayla or Yogurt or Star, you guys can take whatever Minister says because I've been talking for a while. All right. So, Minister, what do you think that good reason is?
I think the good reason to believe in a God is because it would be equivalent to the belief in self. And in order to have peace in this life and, obtain the life you desire, you have to have belief in yourself. That higher power that is what most people consider to be God, quote unquote, is a power that lives within you. So if you don't believe in yourself, you really won't have much of a life.
Gotcha. All right. Can you pause me 1 second? Oh, I'm sorry, Kayla. I know you want to take this one. I definitely know you want to take this one. All right. So, Minister, can you just give me 1 second? Can you give me 1 second? I just want to say one thing real quick. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody being up. We are at 8.7K likes. Let's get to 10K within the next 5 minutes. I appreciate everybody who's watching me over on YouTube. Secular Smoke, JMR. I do see you, Black Atheist Rants Bar. I appreciate you. Lilith, I appreciate you. Everyone who's watching me on YouTube right now, I appreciate y'all. Yeah, Black Atheist Rants is in the comments. I appreciate y'all. And one last thing.
I don't see him in the comments, though.
I think he had to leave. He was here earlier. All right, Mike in the comments who's been crashing out. I've invited you several times. If you do not respond with a yes or a no, I'm going to mute you. All right? So either come up on
I don't see anyone in the comments named Mike.
Mike Cards.
I'm the solid. Is it Mike Cards?
Yeah, Mike Cards. That guy. Mike, I've invited you several times up to the panel. Either tell me yes or no. If you're not gonna come up, you can keep crashing out in the comments. I'm just gonna go ahead and mute
you. Then I'll just mute him because if he wants to talk, he can come up then.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I got you, Stanley. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Go ahead, come on up or get muted. All right, Stanley. I'm gonna get you, Stanley. All right, so Minister, just to reiterate what you said, believing in God means that you'll be able to believe in yourself as well. I know Kayla wants to get at that, and then Star had a question for Yogurt. Yes. So Kayla, Yogurt, I know you guys are non-believers as well. If whoever has a response for Minister, go ahead. Kayla first. Go ahead, Kayla.
Yes. It's crazy to me because both you and I have been doing this for a while together, and that is not the first time I've heard that argument. And
that's my first.
Really, it really is. It's not the first time I've heard that argument, but I think it's a ridiculous one because I'm an atheist. I don't believe in a God or gods, and yet I absolutely believe in myself, who I am, and in my abilities. So
that's why I said
I don't understand how those things correlate.
That's why I said quote unquote God, because God is really just a name. I know the term God originates with Catholicism and Christianity. I'm personally non-religious. Oh, that's new information. I thought it did. So I'm definitely open to learning new stuff.
Because people have been believing in God before Christianity or any of the Abrahamic faith actually existed. So that is not actually true.
Okay, true. But he didn't have the name God back then.
Oh, you mean like
no,
the
they have
concept
this-
of?
the,
I'm sorry, Kelly. Just one
the
second.
concept of God. So the concept of God has been a thing.
Yes.
I'm like, and they did call them gods. For example, if you were to go back a few thousand years, let's say you, we're in Greece, they would be, they would be calling gods the gods of Greece. So it would be Zeus, Poseidon, maybe the goddesses Athena, etc.
Aphrodite, one of them.
Right. If you go to Egypt, they would be calling God I forget but you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yes,
they,
I do. Yes,
depending
ma'am.
on the time and the place and the culture that you're in,
Yes,
they did
ma'am.
have a concept of God. They just called the God by name. Now in Christianity, they call God they call God Yahweh and his son Jesus. And so forth and so forth. But the concept of God existed before Christianity.
Correct.
That
Correct.
absolutely
But I
was.
said the name God originated with Catholicism and Christianity. You are correct. We had gods across the board, but they didn't have names. They didn't call the being. They usually called them beings or by name, like you said. We
But
didn't
the
actually
Greeks
start
did.
considering the Most High to be the term God. Yes, something like that. But even all of those words are new language.
The
that
Greeks and the
language-
Egyptians
language
called their
change.
deities gods.
Okay. I see. Oh, everybody pause. Everybody pause. Right. Everybody pause. Everybody pause. Right. Everybody pause. Right. Everybody pause.
And pause just for a second. Let me see.
Yeah. So when I think I kind of get where you're getting at, Minister. You're saying that before Christianity, the gods were called by their name until the title of God within Western monotheism was just given to Yahweh, and now everyone just puts that title of God and not actually Yahweh, which is the real name. Is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am. Because
Okay, I agree.
Yeah. I'm thinking way before we even had language. You know what I mean? Because there's
we agree.
like you said, been a concept of God even before then. So the reason I said I believe that a good reason to believe in quote unquote a God is because the energy, the entity, all that people are talking about, that like the essence of creation, it literally lives within every individual and all other things as well. So your power to say, even regardless of if you call it a prayer or not, your power to just put an energy out in this world, like, you know what, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be wealthy, just affirmative words for yourself, and then you manifest those things into your actual reality. This is the quote unquote God power, or whatever you want to call it, that lives within you. Even science has gone so far to create new things in the same way that they describe God to be creating things in all of these biblical and old ancient texts that we have read. The essence of creation lives within everything. The fruit of creation lives within everything. So believing in yourself and believing that you can create anything from nothing is in a way believing in a God.
Okay. So, Minister, I don't want to respond to that, but Stanley had a question. Stanley, ask a question really fast, but I want Star to ask his question. All right.
I want to tell a person. Okay, listen here. Okay, you take the moon for instance. Take the moon for instance. There's no string or nothing holding it up. And it's not sitting on nothing. It's just sitting there. And don't tell me no damn gravity. It's just there because it was in the word. There's no strings. It ain't sitting on nothing. It's just there.
Okay, we'll get to that in a moment, Stanley. All right, let's get to that in a moment, Stanley. All right, so Minister, what you're talking about, from what I can understand, really, I understand people say fruits of creation, or the God power, or something like that. But to me, that just sounds like motivation and potential. You see what I'm saying? Like things.
And I agree with you. 100%.
Right. So
I agree.
Exactly. That's why I don't really put the term God or manifestation or anything on it, because it's something that we do anyway. But I do want to get back to that conversation. That's really interesting.
I actually have a question for manifestation.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm like, because I'm really thinking right now. I know like she's not a Christian, but I definitely want to maybe get her perspective and like the perspective of the panel. So I'm like, manifestation. I'm sorry, minister. Do you think, because you're talking about energy, right, and creation and stuff, would you describe that energy as an innately feminine energy?
Honestly, wouldn't give it a gender. But I know everybody says God, he. If we're gonna give it a gender, creation comes from women. But we're not even gonna do that. I'm gonna open up a whole new can of worms with the men up in here, girl.
That's kind of true, though.
I believe that God has no gender. God, the universe creator, most high, whatever you call it, no gender.
Okay.
I got you. All right. Oh, hold on, y'all. Because I know Star. Yeah, give me 1 second, Cook. All right, because Star has been patient. Star, I appreciate you being patient.
See my husband's face.
Star, I appreciate you being patient. I know you had a question for Yogurt. What was that question again?
First off, two things before I start. One, you probably know me. I'm Luna on the Discord server.
Luna, what's going on, Luna? I appreciate you being here.
What's up?
Hey, y'all, remember to join the Discord, y'all. Join the Black Atheist Discord. Link is in my bio. Luna Star is there. We call him Luna inside the Discord, but I appreciate you being here, Luna. Go ahead and talk to Yogurt for me.
All right, the last thing before I
start. I'm in the Discord too. I don't know if you've seen me. I'm Michaela in the Discord.
Definitely. All right, go ahead, Star.
Hold on, give me a second. I gotta find my comment. Okay, so Yogurt, are you there right now? You alive, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so just to clarify before I start, so what I got from what you were saying, admittedly, I just joined. I mean, I watched it on YouTube, but I wasn't able to hear the full thing. So basically, the gist from what I got, are you seeing that basically people should believe in a God, use Palestine as an example because of what they're doing, because of what's happening there, how much they're suffering and all that. And because of that, religion, admittedly, it has been used to give people hope, right? And is that your reasoning? Can you clarify?
So when you say I use Palestine, and I saw your comment, I think you were like, again, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but I feel like you were trying to slander me and say that I'm justifying genocide. So
that's not what I was saying.
I am Palestinian. So just so you know, like my grandmother in her dying bed, she was crying about wanting to go back to her village, and there is nothing that would comfort her at all, except that God will give her justice. And if that is not the case with you, if we are rationalist or rational, we can connect with our rational capacities. We have to also accept the fact that a lot of people in the world and throughout human history do not connect like we do with the rational human capacity, but they do with the religious one and their religious impulse, which is very human. It's part of the human experience. And I'm saying it's for these people, okay? And I believe they make a large portion of the human population. They have a good reason to believe in God, and we cannot basically deny that part of the human experience simply because we do not have the scientific evidence to explain it, to tell us about it, and they're not less human than we are. And we cannot force science onto them. And I gave an example with the Palestinians because before with what was happening, I was more on the line with you guys that there's absolutely no reason to believe in God, and all people should move away from this. But as I see the stuff happening, who if they are not gonna rely on this belief that justice will be brought to them, who are they going to rely on? On us? On science? Is science going to give them justice or save them? Nobody is doing anything about it. We see it in front of us happening. Ethnic cleansing in 2024, 25. We apparently learned nothing. Humanity has not progressed. And we see these things happening. And it's just all a facade and a lie that we have morally progressed, because here the children are this is what's happening to them, and we see the images, and some people even celebrate it, and that's humanity for you, that's science for you, that's rationality for you. It's not solving this problem. And the only thing that solves this problem is basically these people having a belief, a lie. Basically, we call it a lie, but I don't know what it is. That what is happening to them is going. There's going to happen to them. There's going to have some. There's going to have some.
Hold on, Cook. I gotta. Cook. You have an echo. You have all right. So an echo. Cook, stay on mute from me real quick because you have an echo, bro. All right. So Yogurt, I understand everything that you're saying, right? Now here's what I would say, because you said that this is what brings them comfort, so that's their good reason. The reason why I said it's not a good reason, because at the end of the day, that only goes so far. Because we can say that, God is going to give them justice. If God is going to give them justice, he shouldn't give them that in their afterlife. He should give them that now. You know what I mean? Because they're being wiped out. This is like what you said, it's an ethnic cleansing happening by Zionism. So, but that's the first reason I would say. But the second reason I would say is that who will they depend on? They should depend on themselves, and they shouldn't be depending on us. You know what I mean? Us as a human collective, not only condemning this, but trying to make it to stop happening. Now, of course, we're not in power. The majority of us aren't in power, and the people who are in power do not care, right? Which is why us as a human collective, we need to move to make them care. Either vote them out or complete revolution to get them out of there to stop this from happening. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say, that we should be depending on each other and depend on us. And I don't think it's due to rationality that these people are doing what they're doing. I think it's due to cruelty. You know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, bigotry and cruelty are not rational. You know what I mean? These are not rational things. These are racism is completely irrational. I mean, think about what happened to black people in America. What happened to black people in America had no rational reason at all. You built a highway through a neighborhood just because. There's no rationality there. You see what I'm saying? So it's built off cruelty, not rationality, in my opinion. I want Star to go ahead and say what he was going to say, and then we're going to move on to Stanley. Star, what were you going to say?
Well, honestly, I was going to say a lot of the stuff that you said. I understand that historically, oppressed groups, they turn to religion for comfort. Like if you, like, they, like if you're part of a marginalized group, it's very likely that you might believe in like a higher power and stuff like that, especially if you're from a group that's been historically indoctrinated by it, because you want to find meaning in your suffering, or because you want you want the pain to stop, and you think that God loves you and stuff like that, right? And when it feels like a lot of the stuff is against, like the whole world is against you, and everyone just hates you for no reason, and your group, people like you, are being massacred and genocided, raped, killed, all that, it just feels like you need a reason to keep going. And for some people, that's a higher power. I get that, but I don't think that it's healthy to only rely on a higher power, because, well, I mean, like, how to word this? Like, let's say prayer really only goes so far. Like, when I've seen numerous videos of Palestinians crying out for God or Allah and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of those people ended up getting killed anyway, and it frustrates me to see it, you know. And I think that it is important. You can't just rely on a higher power. You have. I know it's. I don't mean to say like, oh, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. No, but I think that it is important to have a level of self-reliance, and for humans to have compassion for other humans, and to help them out, you know. And I think that it is, and I think that a lot of it, I feel like a lot of this kind of has to do with, well, what, like Volsi said, bigotry and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I've never really been on like a live call before.
No, it's all good, bro. I appreciate you. That was well thought out. I completely agree. Like, self-reliance does come in a play. That's one of my principles. As a matter of fact, self-reliance and compassion. Those are two of my main principles that I live by in my life. So definitely, Yoga. I know you may have some pushback or anything to say as well.
Okay,
Yeah, I got you. But I do want to get to Stanley and my homie Rapson right there. Stanley, now, thank you for being patient, Stanley. Now, you did say you think you could give me a good reason to believe in a God. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. We'll talk to you for about 15 minutes. And Rapson, if you gotta go, just let me know. All right. Stanley, go ahead and let us know, Stanley, in about 1 minute, and we'll just go ahead and discuss that for another 15. What do you think is a good reason to believe in a God?
Okay, I said the moon is just set there. There's no string holding it up. It's not sitting on nothing. That was holding it up. Don't tell me no gravity. Anybody?
Okay.
Gravity. What is that gravity?
He beat me to it. He beat me to it.
Gravity.
It's gravity, bro. It's gravity.
Gravity pull.
You can't be serious,
Gravity
man.
pull.
Oh no.
You said what?
Gravity pull.
It is pulling, yeah. Yeah, the gravity of the moon and the gravity of Earth are pulling each other, and they both orbit a center of what's that called? A center of gravity. Yeah, the moon and the Earth are both orbiting a center of gravity. They're pulling on each other,
Forcing each other. What the moon is doing, they're attracting each other, and the energy is forcing it because of the attraction to move around each other like that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, the sun is doing the same thing.
Energy that is
Yes, you're right.
You know.
Yes, you're right. But like everything that has mass has gravity. Like you even have gravity, Stanley. The only reason why your gravity isn't working right now is because Earth's gravity is stronger than yours.
Exactly.
So yeah, so Stanley, when you say the moon is just sitting there, I'm not even sure what you mean, because space is a vacuum, right? There is no up, down, or sitting in space. That's not a thing.
Right.
If it wasn't
you take a tennis ball, you hold it in your hand, you put it in the air, and just leave it there.
Right.
No, it's gonna fall because of gravity. I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Wait, what did he say?
What I'm getting at, because God is not in it. It's in the word. When he spoke it, the moon just sat there.
That's not how that works.
Well, the moon was there before the Bible was written, baby.
If the moon just sat there, it would be floating. If it had no gravity, it would just be floating down into
so you see everything around the world he made, but you won't keep. You see everything he made, but you can't believe in him.
But we can explain. Like, okay, let me ask you something.
Well,
Stanley.
there's a scientific backup for everything that's.
And don't give me no Martian.
Okay, sure. No, let me ask you a question. Do you think designers are intelligent?
Designers?
Yeah, like you're saying God designed the world. Do you think God is an intelligent designer?
He's perfect.
Okay, so he is intelligent, correct?
Yes, he is.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you a question. If you were to build or create something, because I'm assuming you're a pretty smart man, if you were to build something, would you create it with unnecessary parts?
With unnecessary parts, like what?
Would you intentionally create a design? Let's say you're building something, right? And let's say, for example, again, because I'm assuming you're a pretty smart man, right? I'm not saying you're a super genius or anything like that. I'm just saying just smart. No, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not saying you're a super genius, right? I'm not gonna. I know, because people like to be humble and be like, oh, I'm not on this level or that level. So I'm just saying, like, you're an intelligent man. You're creating something, and you say, let's say you realize it costs $50 to make this product, right? Would you go out?
Would I go what?
Wait, what happened?
He muted. You muted, Dred.
Dred, can you unmute yourself, please?
Oh, sorry. I was saying, would you go out of your way? Let's say you're creating a design. It costs $50 to make. As a smart and intelligent man, would you go spend $300 on extra parts and essentially spend $350 to make a design with unnecessary parts? Yes or no?
All depends on what are you making it out of.
No, just say no, baby. We would not do that.
So no, you're not going to do it. So my point is this, Stanley. My point is this, Stanley. You, as an intelligent person, wouldn't create a design, wouldn't create a machine, whatever have you, with extra unnecessary parts. You wouldn't do that because it would be unnecessary, right? If it works with the 5 pieces, why spend thousands of dollars on 300 extra pieces? That's stupid, right? So I'm asking you, would you do that? I'm assuming the answer is no. My next question is going to be, as an intelligent designer, why did God give human beings unnecessary parts? Like wisdom teeth. The majority of humans get them ripped out of their mouth the second they grow in. 35% of humans don't even grow them anymore. We have a palmaris longus that we don't have a use for. We have a tailbone. Matter of fact, when in utero, we can actually point to when embryos have a tail until it dies off within the first 3 weeks. But like, there are parts of our bodies that are unnecessary. Right. So to me, that doesn't point to an intelligent designer. But if we're talking about like when we talk about like how the Big Bang happens, or when we talk about human evolution and animal evolution, things like that, that would explain that. So you have to acknowledge that
Can I
the
ask
intelligent
Dre the
designer is
question
not smart.
before he answers?
Yeah, there was a big bang. It was a boom. And then after that, it was in the beginning was a word.
Well, my question for Dreadful is, what makes you say that we have any unnecessary parts? Now, I'm not arguing for or against the whole God concept. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no. I just want to clarify. So when I say unnecessary parts, okay. So when I say unnecessary parts, I understand why we have those parts. Like when we look through human evolution and things like that, we can point to at what point in time early ancestors, I'm not necessarily saying human beings, but like early ancestors needed these parts. However, if your belief is that this intelligent God with foresight created these things, this now makes these parts essentially unnecessary. Again, for example, like tailbones would not be necessary if our early ancestors didn't evolve from something that had a use for a tailbone. Wisdom teeth, right? We know why our wisdom teeth hurt in our mouths now because our jaws have gotten smaller. But when they were larger, when early humans, not modern humans, but early human jaws were larger, wisdom teeth fit perfectly in the mouth. So again, these would be unnecessary. We have a third eyelid in the corner of our eye that no longer moves, but we can dissect a human and peel the eyelid and see that it exists. So these are unnecessary to me.
Okay, so can
well, that was actually going to be my next thing. I was about to say that they may be necessary parts to a human, but not us humans.
All right,
but still, all humans would technically be born with them as they are a part of the human, even if the exception isn't the rule. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but Minister, do you understand that? Can everybody pause? I keep hearing a noise. What's that noise? Okay.
In order for you to get those parts that you have that you call unnecessary, those parts have to be created. Like you said, okay, now you're saying ancestors, because you said, oh, well, the ancestors might have had a need to use them, but we don't. So now you try to make it seem like ancestors are not humans. We're still humans too. So if the ancestor had those parts, there's always a reason for everything. That's what I was trying to say before, right? Mm-hmm. A creation is a creation. Like I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna ask you the same type of question that you hypothetically question, right? Yes, hypothetically. So how you just said, if somebody creates something, right? See that, and that's why I said I don't believe in a God to where how they say, oh, God is looking over us and he's making sure everything is done. Like I'm gonna say it like this: when you create something, right? If you make a building, you are architect. You made this building, right? You created the building, you set it up, you got it all set. How often do you go back to the building? You on to the next building, right? You don't sit here and, oh, I created this building, I'm gonna stay around and make sure that, no, you're an architect, you are a creator. So you made it, and now you want to move on to make something else. And that's why, if you think about it, the universe is mad things created. It's not just the earth that's created, it's mad things that's created.
Can I interrupt real quick? Can I interrupt real quick? Can I interrupt real quick? Here's the problem that I'm having, and I'm pretty sure a lot of non-believers have the same issue. We're pre-assuming a creator in the first place. Right. Like life can just be, or the universe could just be an emergent thing that comes around naturally, right? It doesn't need to be created, because created it implies something like deliberate, like we were put here by something like an agent not forcefully, but like made so deliberately, and we have no reason to believe that's the case, right? So when Dreadful is talking about things that are unnecessary, as we evolve, like human beings, as we evolved from earlier creatures, right? When we evolve, there are some things that those earlier creatures had that we no longer need, just like the wisdom teeth. We no longer need those, right? So if this God creature that was created everything intelligently, if he set evolution in motion, he would know that, right? Since he's a creator and knows everything, he would know that these parts will become unnecessary. Or if he created specially from every other animal, why do we share the traits of evolving from other earlier animals? We have that. You see what I'm saying? So it seems to go against this intelligent creator, intelligent designer thing if you just look at the human species, or if you just look at evolution.
But that's what I'm saying, brother. Like I told you before, when I first started talking, I said I don't believe in a God. I believe in the energy and everything. I believe in energy because it's like everything is created, like a tadpole. You got a tadpole. A tadpole evolves. Like we know we evolve. We know that this, but everything is created from somewhere. That's all I'm saying. Creation is creation. That's a word. That's a real word that has to. If I create something. So if you was created like I said, go back to what I said before. You as a baby and becoming into this world, you was created by your mom and your pops. That's creation, bro. These plants, if you go out there, you plant something. Those plants are created. Everything is created. So that word actually means something, which means that I'm not saying it's yo, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna make this and I'm the god of this and that and I'm gonna no, it's not that. It's off of the energy that was built, just how we just said about the moon.
Okay, it sounds like you're right. It sounds like you're conflating. Right. It sounds like you're conflating the word creation with existence in and of itself, and I just don't do that. But Dreadful actually wants to say something. I'm sorry, y'all. Dreadful wants to say something. Dreadful, what was it?
No. I was just gonna say that what you said was 100% right. So like again, I'm only using the term useless in the framework of a creation, because like even if we look at and the reason I asked Stanley, does he consider himself intelligent? If we look at human beings, right, when we create things, for example, I might buy, we all wear pants, right? Sometimes I know, especially the guys, like we have that little small pocket on our pants inside of a pocket, right? And to us, that might look stupid. It might look useless. But when we look back in time, we understand that that pocket was specifically put there for pocket watches. It was put there for pocket watches. So when I say useless, like it wouldn't be like using a pen example, we don't typically wear pocket watches nowadays. So that is a useless design. However, looking back in time, right, it had a purpose. And so again, I'm not saying
I'm glad you said looking back in time.
Right.
I actually wanted to go back to your example, Dreadful, of creating something that only needs 5 parts and putting 300 parts on it. Like, why would you do that? Why would you waste your time and money? Exactly. And I've been sitting here thinking about, like, that was a powerful example. And because I believe that anything is possible, honestly. But just for the sake of argument, what if this God that most people believe have created everything, like pre-created everything, right? What if he had this thing that he could make in 5 parts, and then he thought ahead, like, okay, but down the line, it's going to end up needing this because this is going to change in the world. It's going to need this in this many years because this is going to change in the world. And so he added all the extra stuff, like, just in case, that's why we have like the evolutionary process,
Right. And I think that's fine. I think that's fine. There are scientists who believe in creation. I mean, not creationism.
Like the theistic evolutionaries. Yeah. I'm sorry, because we kind of got a little bit away from Stanley. Stanley, I know this was a lot, but in taking in together Dreadful's example and statements, what would be your response to that?
Well, this whole country was built off people that couldn't even read and write. And I refuse to believe that everything just popped up. It just don't make no sense.
Okay, so here's what we would say, Stanley. Like, when it comes to this universe, something can't come from nothing, right? We know that things didn't just pop up out of nowhere. what I would say is that that doesn't necessarily show that a God exists or that it's a creative force or anything like that. Existence in of itself, why is there something rather than nothing? That is a mystery, but that doesn't show that a God would necessarily exist. And I'm asking you, why would it?
So you don't believe in spirit?
No, I don't believe in spirits. I don't believe in anything supernatural.
You don't?
Is it okay if I respond to Stanley?
Yeah, go ahead.
Stanley, do you believe that it is possible that when God created everything, he did it in an instant?
No, they said in 7 days.
I mean, that's pretty instantaneous in terms of time, is it not? And wasn't man the last?
Bro, 7 days.
Man,
like
but question, right? Exactly. So Stanley, man was the last thing created in that 7-day period. To man, it would have seemed like the world was instant because when man got here, everything was already here for him, right?
Well, man was the only thing was made in the image and the likeness of God.
I agree with you, Stanley. So if that is correct, then isn't it possible that what they are saying about God creating everything with like a big bang or with something that began and eventually into what he wanted to be the likeness of man was possible?
You said what now?
I said, do you feel that with God creating man in his likeness, that it is possible that it began as something else, like just an idea, and then he made it into something small and made it eventually evolve into the likeness of man? Or do you think God created everything perfectly the very first time? You know, because God, as the ultimate creator, don't you think he created things over and over and over and over and over again until he made it just how he wanted it to be?
Well, what the book say?
I'm be honest. Wait a minute, Stanley. I'm be honest with you. I'm be honest with you. I don't read the Bible.
You was ever in the womb.
Yes.
He said, "I knew you before you was ever in the womb."
All right. So Stanley,
spirit.
Okay. So this is what I wanted to point out to Stanley. Okay, Stanley. I know that I think we all know, or for me personally, I know that's what the Bible says, right? My question for you is,
the Bible says.
Right. I know that's what the Bible says, right, Stanley? My question for you is, why should I take that to be true?
Ain't no man in the world smart enough to write a book like that.
Sure they are.
But there's a man smart enough to edit it.
I'm sure they are.
Sure they are.
They did.
From day one.
They have. Yeah, they have. They have. Stanley. Have you ever heard Stanley? Wait, hold on. Stanley, hold on. Everybody pause. Everybody
Don't
pause.
mute.
So,
if you ever go to the council of Nicaea, that's
gotcha. Hold on. Cook. Give me a second. All right. So everybody pause. So Stanley, have you ever heard of the Bhagavad Gita?
You can come off mute, Stanley.
Stanley, come on mute from me. Have you ever heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Oh wait, let me invite him.
Send him the request to come off mute.
Yeah, I'm sending the request right now. Go ahead and come off mute from me, Stanley, please. And after Stanley, we're gonna go ahead and go to Rapson. I'm sorry, not Rapson. Stanley, go ahead and press the little mic button to get off mute because we can't hear you if you're talking right now. Has he figured it out? Oh, he left. He left.
Just about to say we want to be careful not to break his faith because he heavily believes in the Bible.
I know.
He was getting there.
He was getting there. All right, God. Yeah. Hey, everybody, I appreciate y'all. We've been on 14K likes.
He was an older black man, honey.
Yeah,
so
you have to approach it very sensitively. It is a way to get them to the point of an understanding, but you got to be real careful with them. When as soon as he said what the book say, I was like, whoa, there you go.
A lot of these older folks don't got no damn sense. Okay, a lot of them don't. Especially when it comes to religion.
That's why I chose metaphysical ministry because, and it's funny, I only got ordained because a Presbyterian pastor told me that I couldn't deliver the word from God speaking to me because I didn't read the Bible when I was a lady. So I got an ordination to shut up.
I'm like, yeah, the misogyny of religion.
All right. Can everybody pause me real quick? I just got to make a quick commercial break. All right, y'all, quick commercial break. Go ahead and follow follow the Discord in my bio because the Black Atheist Skeptics and Humanist Cookout is coming next year, 2026, down here in Florida, in Central Florida. I will be giving those details later on this year. I will be sharing, selling T-shirts. This shirt is not it. This is from Black Men Build. It's an activist organization I'm part of. Follow Black Men Build as well. They do great work in the community. They have, they have what's the thing called? They have food pantries. They have, book reading for kids, run clubs, chess clubs for Black men. We do men's circles for Black men to sit down and talk about our feelings all the time. I'm going to Saturday. So follow Black Men Build, great organization. Come to the Black Atheist Skeptics and Humanists Cookout, the Bash Cookout coming next year. I've been at 14K likes for the past 20 minutes.
I'm definitely going to try to get a ticket down to Florida. You know, y'all laws in Florida are
Wait,
fucked
is
up, honey.
everybody
So I gotta-
invited, or do we have to be atheists?
What part of Florida?
Central Florida. You can be agnostic, spiritual, or humanist, which is why I call it the Bash Cookout. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
so
cool.
all right, cool. So also last thing,
Is that close?
that's close, yeah, because I'm in Longwood. So I've been on 14K likes for the
You
past
gotta
20
be
minutes now.
black though. You gotta be black though.
Do gotta be black to show up. Do gotta be black. I'm sorry. Gotta be black.
The whole family, we're all the cousins.
I'm like, now,
Only black
I'm
folks.
like, now, the
Stop
both
it, y'all a mess.
he's Haitian, so you don't have to be one ethnicity of black, but you gotta be a racially
Yeah. You
black.
gotta be racially black. Yeah.
Technically, all people came from us. We was first, so don't that mean the white people invited too?
No.
They got
Everybody can't come to the cookout.
I'm like, girl, we don't want to
Yeah,
know.
I ain't doing the potato salad. We ain't doing it. Yeah, nah, we good.
No, I'm good. All right, y'all pause for
Don't
me real quick.
want the unseasoned mess.
Exactly. We don't need any raisins in the potato salad, y'all. So anyway, y'all, I've been at 14K likes for a minute, y'all. Let's try to get me to 20K by at least the next 20 minutes. Try to get me to 20K. I appreciate everybody. Rapson will probably be my last person for the night. Rapson is an old school friend of mine. Grew up in church together. Cool guy. Rapson, how's it going, bro? I know that you're around my age.
Is this who I think it is?
Hold on, bro. My fault. Before he talked, bro, you grew up in a church, and now you become an atheist.
I grew up in church and now I'm an atheist. Yeah, it's crazy.
Grew up in
I'm like,
church.
not only was he in church, but he was a PK too.
I was a PK. Yeah. Hey,
Who
Rapson
was also going to become a pastor. Ironically,
Yo, you know what's crazy? Rapson to tell you, Rapson has been there. Yeah, Rapson to tell you, he was there when I preached twice, so he'll tell you how good I was. Remember when I preached?
You was preaching.
Hey, Rapson, remember when I gave that? Rapson, remember when I gave that sermon on the last 7 words of Jesus? Remember when I gave that? That was a good one. I ain't gonna lie. That was a good one. But yeah, go ahead, Rapson. So, what you had for the panel today?
So for me, my thing is, I always find that there are people who does major studies, scientists that do major studies on this wonderful thought of creation. And in most cases, with the exception of one major scientist, what is his name? Who was bound to a wheelchair?
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Hawkins, yeah.
That a lot of these guys end up finding themselves actually believing that there had to be a creator because they still cannot come up with the possible equation that perfectly aligns everything together when it comes to life, gravity, and so it's like it's kind of hard for me to not believe. And believe it or not, another thing is too, I know you said you don't believe in spirits, which is kind of hard for me to believe considering the fact that you're Haitian. Because
I'm sorry, yeah.
My girl,
I'm like, God, do y'all not hold on? I'm a Raja. My speaking of, do y'all not see the Haitian flag at the top of his little thing?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, sure.
My fault. Okay, yeah.
No, I'm good. All good. Rapson, go ahead and finish what you said.
And the thing is,
And he looks
especially
Haitian.
my older age, unfortunately, I have Haitian parents that did not talk about some of their, their true religion.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, for a lot of our Haitian parents that come into the States, that they get into Christianity, especially, they forget that Haiti was the first we call it independent country.
Yeah,
and their independence was not gained by just fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It was a spiritual war. So I cannot not believe in spirits when understanding that these folks actively practice and actively see the results of it.
Yeah. So I could agree with that, right? In matter of fact, that's one of the counter arguments that I use. That if they're gonna say that when during the Bois Caïman, what was his name? Dutty Boukma, he said that, if we keep the religion of our ancestors, we'll defeat the French. And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? So that would make African traditional religions true if that's the case. You see what I'm saying? So that's what that's the counter that I use. Now, the reason why I don't believe in any spirits is because I just don't have any evidence of that they're true. But as far as what you're saying that,
that'll be my next question.
Yeah. Now, as far as what you're saying about, the all the, except for Stephen Hawking, all the scientists coming around to believing there's a God. Not really. Now I'm not gonna deny that there are scientists, very good scientists throughout all of humanity that have believed in a God. That's true. Yeah, I mean, even right now in the scientific field in America, there is a significant amount of scientists who still believe in a God. That is true. Yeah, I mean, but when we talk about scientists such as Albert Einstein and Charles Darwin, they've never really believed in any type of personal God. I mean, Charles Darwin was agnostic until he passed away. Albert Einstein, he believed more in Spinoza's God, not a personal one that he could pray to and change things around. He never really believed in those things. These things are more things that people say to, I don't know, just for coping, I guess, but they just kind of claim it and it's not really true. Yeah, Dreadful actually had a question. I do know everybody want to get into it. Just give me a second.
By the way,
Dreadful had a question.
I'm like, I've been seeing Dreadful's content for like years now. So it's just,
amazing.
It's literally
an honor.
It's just ironic and dope for him to be up here. So, hey, Dreadful.
It's so dope for him to be up here. Hey, Dreadful, next time I'm gonna share this on Twitter because I follow you there too. And boy, you be giving them hell.
Oh, child, his Twitter be lit, honey. Okay, he be reading them folks, honey.
He be giving them hell, boy.
I'm like, listen, but I'm here for it because I be sharing some of his stuff because my little messy ass self, honey.
All right, Jeff, I know you had a question for Raps. What was it again, brother?
No, I was just going to say that we have to be careful when appealing to authority, because that's essentially the claim that you're making. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm not knocking your belief and all that. I appreciate your belief, but it's what you're doing is called an appeal to authority. So essentially saying that because like these groups of renowned scientists, whether it's 100%, 50%, whomever, believe that a God exists, therefore, it's plausible to just believe that a God exists. Science, I will say science is an appeal to authority in and of itself, but it's an appeal to like an overwhelming consensus, because we put things through, test, and we try to constantly poke holes and disprove theories and things of that nature. But it's not the like appeal to one particular scientist, if that makes sense.
Well, can I?
Well, I'm like, well, Dred, I also wanted to, but to his point previously, because he brought up y'all's Haitian, ancestors and what they said. Well, and it's funny because it's actually similar to what I'm gonna say it's actually similar to what the Palestinian guy had said about using religion to kind of and spirituality and belief to kind of get through certain things. And I'm like, and it's very interesting, like with the Haitian stuff, because what I've come to realize is that's literally how Christianity was retained specifically within the African diaspora, in particular, and because in the Black American context, Christianity was used to basically get through those grueling days on the slave plantations here. One of the very few times that that Black people in America were able to get together was to congregate amongst themselves through religion. That's where we get Negro spirituals from. In fact, that's where that literally comes from. And so I'm bringing this up because every time someone talks about why they believe, it's always I don't know if y'all have noticed this pattern. It's always in the context of some tragedy or some type of traumatic event. And right. I'm like, what makes you come to God? It's not love, it's not compassion, but it is survival.
Sounds good.
So how can you be a God of love if the reason the only reason that really ties me to this religion is trauma.
It's trauma and survival. What would you say, Rex?
I understand.
So
there was
when
a
we just
separation.
Hold on. Everybody, pause real quick. I think Rapson wants to reply to that. Go ahead.
Okay, my fault.
Yeah, I separated that point of spirituality. It was not tied into Christianity. Now, as far as Christianity, I'll tell you this: for my personal sake, not for everyone else's sake or belief, for my personal sake, one question I had for one of my former teachers, Dr. Williams. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he always was one to challenge everyone's beliefs, and but his problem was always Jesus Christ. When it comes to, biblically, how can you really have a problem with Christ? What did he really do wrong? Besides challenge the folks within his time to actually love. When you think about it, the miracles that he performed, he got in trouble with his own Jewish folks because he decided he was going to perform miracles on the day of Sabbath. Which is you're not supposed to work or do anything on the Sabbath. So he challenged the
biblical law said he should have been put to death. Unalivement. My bad. According to biblical law of the Old Testament, working on the Sabbath should be put to unalivement.
Yeah, but this is going to your point of being brought to Christianity by love. Me understanding this, I understood that this particular person loved me so much that he would go against the law.
Yeah.
You know something?
Right, but here's the thing.
Real quick, because real talk. And I'm going to answer your question, bro, because I'm listening to everybody, but to answer your question, right? Because your question is, can you give me a good reason to believe in a God? And what my brother just said, he mentioned belief. And what my sister just said too is about belief. So it's about belief. It's not about any actual factual things. It's about belief. So to me, I would say this, I don't do religion, but if that religion that you believe in, because belief is a whole different thing from facts and everything else. I live in this world. I don't live off of belief. I live off of what I can actually, I deal with science. So I deal with what I can actually see, right? So I don't live off of belief. A lot of people live off of belief. Now, if you are a man, because I know I grew up in these streets, bro. I know a lot of my brothers who went to jail, who actually got into a religion, like my man Tom. My man Tom just did 30 years, bro. He did 30 years, and now he's Muslim. And because of his belief in that God, changed him to a whole better man. And I get it, the situation.
But you notice you just you notice my point just got proven though, right?
Wait, no, wait, hold
what brought him to that religion was a traumatic event.
I understand. Wait, but the question is, why should you believe in a God? That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Going off of belief, right? So, and I'm not just saying a jail dude. I'm just saying, like me personally, I don't believe in God. I know how to change myself. Like when I got my woman, I knew when I met my woman, I messed up a lot of times, bro. I did. But me personally, I didn't ask God to change me. I changed for myself.
For yourself. Mm-hmm.
I changed for myself. I didn't need no God. I didn't pray to God, yo, God, help me change. No, but some people need that. Some people actually need that belief.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do need
help them.
I really want to respond to Kay.
I do want to respond to that. Hold on, just give me a second, Cook, because I actually want to respond to that just really quick. I'm like you, but I feel like that is Vosie's point of the prompt, the belief part. Why believe something? Because you just said something very true. Belief and in fact, like evidence
totally
stuff, are two different things. I believe that is actually the point of the live, though. Mm-hmm. Why believe something that you cannot prove? Though, because here is the thing: there is a word for believing in something that cannot be unequivocally proven or doesn't have evidence for, and that word to me is delusion. So,
can we just pause real quick because we're kind of getting a little bit away from Rapson. So just to reiterate what our Rapson says, he came through it through love, because when he read this story, I feel exactly the same way when I was a Christian. I felt exactly the same way, right? That reading the story of someone who would go against the law and then unalive just for me, that sounds like a loving and such a great thing to happen, right? And matter of fact, I would say this is how I think Black liberation theology works, because it repackages Jesus as a radical when unjust laws are there, because MLK said the same thing. If a law is unjust, you have a duty to break it. And if you read the story of Jesus in that way, he was breaking unjust laws, right? Just like working on the Sabbath and healing people who should be healed. You feel what I'm saying? So I do get that part. Now, the part that caused me to doubt some things, Rapson, was number one, I could accept that Jesus was, a guy walking around doing a ministry, right? Now, walking on water, healing a blind person, raising Lazarus from the dead, dying and ascending to the sky and flying to the sky within 3 days, and a whole bunch of zombies came out the ground like they said in Matthew. Should I believe that part is true? There's no evidence of that. And what makes it worse is that this entire story was written 30 to 40 years after the events, 30 years at the earliest and 100 years. Yeah, 30 years at the earliest and 100 years at the latest. You see what I'm saying? Even if it's 30 years, that's a lot of time for things to get thrown in there. I mean, think about it. There are still people who believe that Donald Trump won the 2020 election, and that was only 4 years ago. That was only 4 years ago, and they're still throwing in more and more conspiracy theories on it from 4 years ago. You see what I'm saying? Jesus had 30 years. So a lot of things could get thrown in there. You see what I'm saying? So these are things that causes us to doubt. My thing is, why should we believe that story is true in the first place? That's where I'm coming from. Does that make sense, Rapson?
Well, of course it makes sense. My challenge to that would be time. One thing about time as we know it now, everything.
I got you, be easy.
Now, everything happens a lot faster. Right now, we're considered. I don't know if you remember the Black Eyed Peas album, Energy Must Die.
Mm-hmm.
There's one prompt in that album that says we're living in a now generation.
Mm-hmm.
Everything happens now, versus back in the day before cell phone and telephone. If I wanted to holler at a girl, I was sending her a letter.
Mm-hmm. I remember those days. We be my girlfriend, yes or no. Oh man, call me after 9 o'clock. That's when I got free minutes. Yeah, I remember them days.
Imagine I had a girl I was talking to in Boston, It took her 2 weeks to receive my letter that I mailed to her at that time.
You was writing letters, bro. Man, Boston. You was writing letters, man.
Love letters to Boston, nigga.
Oh man, love letters to Boston. Remember when 2 Ways came out? That finally we could text each other.
Yeah, but limited. You can only send my 20 text messages a day.
Yeah, 2 texts a day. That I used to hate.
I'm like, Volsey, you are really showing your age right now, and I just want to say that you are very old. And I just want to say, I'm saying it as the young and hot one in the live, and you're very young and hot. Thank you.
But I'm old. I'm older than handsome. You see this gray silvery handsome beard. I'm telling you.
Black don't crack.
It don't. All right. I'm sorry, Raps. Go ahead and finish, and I want to have Trey and Zenora speak as well. But I know they want to respond to what you're saying. But go ahead, Raps. Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
So as far as the argument time, you have to understand that they operated in a very different timetable back then. So you could have received a message from someone probably 30, 40 days later, depending on how fast it takes for someone to get on that donkey and get to you, or walk to get to you there. So I don't think that the time part is a good argument when it comes to proving these things. Now, another thing is too, how do you prove that someone is sent into the sky without some sort of photographic evidence?
Right.
Like they didn't have. So is that still a plausible argument when it comes to something that had to be seen rather than something that was a physical piece of evidence left?
Right. So this is what I would say. Well, first for the time thing, right? Yeah, sure. We can understand that there are gonna be things. Oh yeah, y'all, 16K likes. Give me the 20K, please. So I can understand the time thing that you're talking about, right? Like things take time. Like in ancient times, if I were to write something now, it wouldn't get to the person in the next city or 100 miles over for another month, right? That could happen. But the issue that we're having is that within this culture, we know nothing was actually put to paper, written down until 30 years after the fact. So we have basically 30 years of oral tradition where things get added on and changed over time. You feel me? Now, of course, I know that in this culture, oral tradition was very, very important, right? So Alex O'Connor said this before. It's very, very important to have oral tradition. So people are going to make sure that the story remains. But over 30 years and over multiple people telling the story, you're still going to have the issue of things being mistranslated and added in to the story.
Translation, playing telephone.
Exactly, playing telephone.
Yeah.
But I got you, Easy. I know you want to say something, but I'm have Dreadful and then you, Easy. Okay? Easy's here, y'all. Easy's here. I got you, Easy. I got you.
It's actually a question.
I'm like, have you been on Quinny's live at all recently?
I don't think he has. I'm gonna get you, Easy. Give me a
I've
second.
seen him
All
on
right?
Quinny's live.
I got you, Easy. Give me a second, all right? But yeah, so Rapson, that's what I'm saying. As far as the ascension to the sky, one thing that I would always bring up is, remember when we were in high school, right? And we learned about the Battle of Troy and the Iliad and the Odyssey and all that. Remember when we learned about the Odyssey back in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the Odyssey, one of the passages says that Zeus came down from the sky and intervened in the Battle of Troy. Right? That's what it says in the Odyssey. But we know Zeus isn't real. So just because, but it does says thousands of Greek soldiers saw it, but we know Zeus isn't real. You know what I'm saying? So this is the problem with a passage just simply saying something and us just taking it for as a given. We need to know if it's actually true first. All right. So guys, Dreadful had a question. Then Be Easy, and then you, Minister. Okay, I do promise I'm gonna get to everybody. Trey, I do see you. Thank you so much, Trey, for being patient. I'm gonna get to everybody, but Dreadful, I think, had a question or response for
I have
Rapson.
a question before you ask Dreadful that question. How do you put likes?
Oh, how do you? Oh, just tap the screen. Tap the
Well,
screen.
you gotta tap his face.
Okay.
You gotta make sure you're tapping on his.
There you go.
Just tap.
So it took a long time to
Gotcha.
figure that out.
No problem. All right, Dreadful. I think you had a question for Rapson, and then Easy had a question for me. Oh, go ahead, Dreadful.
Nothing too crazy. I just wanted him to consider like the reason time is a pity, it gets funky with time because I'm not sure if you ever played the game, but I work with kids, so I have to play the game all the time. This game, Telephone, right, where you start off with a sentence and you are whisper it to the person's ear, and they have to go to like it has to go through 30 other people and make its way back to you. And by the time it gets back to you, it's because they misheard it, they fucked up the translation, fucked up what was said somewhere along the way. And so when we consider that, like in a room full of 15 kids, you know what I mean? Like something, or a room full of 15 people, something you say could get misinterpreted or misrepresented. And then we consider, as mentioned, you know what I'm saying, like 30 years, 40 years, 60 years, 100 years after Jesus ascended, these stories are being told only orally, and then somebody decides to write it down. I just want you to consider how much misinterpretation, misrepresentation could have taken place within that time frame.
Not to mention mistranslation since it was written.
Of course, no, that's something that's often one of the main arguments when it comes to disproving or proving the Bible. Now, one thing is for certain, Jesus is known Jew, right? Right.
Yeah, Jesus was Jewish.
He's Jewish. Now, within a Jewish religion, they told the story. They told the same stories, and in most cases, those stories were never changed. When you look into the Bible, it's one particular story that Jesus told that completely went against the Jewish religion, and that's one story when he spoke about the way called the prodigal son. Within the Jewish religion, the prodigal son, when he left and took all of his way called his earnings or life savings or his inheritance and squandered it. And within the Jewish religion, that story is told different, and it's still told within the Jewish religion that, okay, yeah, he came back and he was a servant. That was it. There was no father meeting him with arms open wide. So, which brings me back to why the story of Christ becomes much more attractive. Now, to be honest with you, I don't like the term Christianity because of the fact that Christianity is something that was definitely the term was created sometime later, and also Christians make Christianity look bad. Period. But the reason for me choosing Christ is the love that he showed, because he told that story in a different way, in a different light, where that kid came back with arms wide open. You know
can you pause for me real quick, Rapson, because I do want to get to everybody else, because Be Easy has something to say. Caddy's been patient, Zenora's been patient, and Trey has been patient. Easy, what was your question for me again, bro?
Oh yeah. Hey, what up, what up, Vosi?
What up, Easy?
What up, everybody on the panel? First,
What up, E?
Hey, what up? I've been listening for a minute, just enjoying the convo. But you just said something that I want to ask a question. You know, what makes you say this, and kind of push back on. You know, of course, in a friendly way, because we fam, gang. So you just made a statement. You said when you were talking about the Jesus timeline, the mentioning of things, and you said stories being passed down. Things weren't written down until the earliest 30 years after the fact, and then at the latest 100 years. So why did you say 30 years? Because to my study, all the evidence shows that everything was starting to be written in the second century and beyond. Unless you're using the Pauline letters.
Mm-hmm. I'm talking about like the Gospels. The last time I read, it was the most conservative estimate is 30 years, and the most the latest is 100 years. So to estimate the amount of time between Jesus walking around and dying or whatever, the earliest time we have the Gospels being written is between 30 to 100 years after the fact. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I got you. But that's what I wanted to push back on in contention. So like you know, one of those words that, you know, Christians love to use, the scholarly consensus, you know, and, you know, all his stories, everything and all the research shows they say that the Gospels, the early, as you know, the first gospel written was Mark out of the four Gospels. Yeah. And they date the Gospel of Mark at least to 70 because it mentions the destruction of the temple. You know, and that's their reasoning for dating it at 70, you know, but the Gospel of Mark also mentions things from the autobiography of Josephus. And the autobiography of Josephus didn't come out until late first century, in like 97. I think, you know, I know it's after 95. It's one of those, I think it's 97. You know, so of course, so yeah, if it mentions something that happened in 70, you know, so yeah, that you can write something at any time after that date because you have prior knowledge of what happened in 70, you know. But if it uses some things that are in the autobiography of Josephus, which comes out in 97, you know,
It pushes
so
it back.
it pushes it back even more, and it's other evidence of, you know, things that is using that pushes it back even more, you know, even more from that.
I actually had none of that.
Yeah, outside of, you know, the first mention of any Gospels doesn't come until Irenaeus in the mid second century. You know, according to my evidence.
Yeah, I actually hadn't heard of that, so I'll definitely be adding that. So that means that if that's true, if Mark was probably somewhere anywhere between 70 to 100 years after the fact. So
no, Matthew's the first book though. Matthew's the first book of the Revelation.
Yeah, Matthew's the first. Matthew's actually goes Matthew, Mark. Yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's the first in the order of the Bible, but when we're talking about it being written, the first gospel that was written, it was Mark. Mark was the first one that was written. That's why they call it Markan priority with scholars. So it was written and from what I heard, it was anywhere from 30 to 100 years after. But what Easy is saying, that'll push it back further to maybe even 70 to 120 years after.
Yeah,
that makes it worse.
When you said 30 to 100, I'm like, bro, I think it started like 100 years after. Like his scriptures wasn't written till later. Like, you feel me? Like about 100 years later. That's when they made it. They made the Council of Nicaea. That's what I was trying to tell you. Because you got to think, the Council of Nicaea, if you go back to that, they had about 3 of them. They did all of those because before Jesus, there was Serapis. You know what I'm saying? You had Serapis as the first.
As the first Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You feel me? So if we do the history on this and we do the history on a religion thing, bro, I done did this. You feel me? I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. I was a Baptist. I went through a couple of religions. I got my brother. So we got to do the history of religion. But then that's where I go back to what I was saying to you, why they believe in God. Because belief is a different thing than what we're trying to say to them. You feel me?
I got you. Can you give me a second? I got you. Can you give me one? Give me one. All right, because Xenon's been here for a while, and she's all good. Xenon's been here for a while. She's been very patient. Unfortunately, we lost one of the ops, Trey. Not sure what happened to Trey, but if Trey is out there in the audience, please come back. Xenon, I know you've been here for a while. I did see you in the comments. I think you're a friendly of mine. Xenon, go ahead. Did you have anything to respond to?
No, it just seems like all the opposition dropped, but I was listening in. I was listening in, and I just, really, especially with an elderly Black man, I grew up around a lot of older people, and it just kind of resonated that type of conversation where you kind of have to edge them in. I was just speaking with my grandmother just a few days ago, and she was telling me the earth is 7,000 years old. And so, I just try to push back gently, but they're not really interested in that. And so I really do feel like some people's religion is, they need that. I really do think that some people need that coddling in life. And I have stepped away from my faith. I'm new to stepping away. I'm a new atheist, but I didn't have any church hurt or anything. I just feel like I've just come to a conclusion rationally that there just cannot be a God looking at the state and the world around us. There's no evidence or anything that aligns to a higher spirit or calling to me. And I was already a Seventh-day Adventist, so I really wasn't really in touch with the spiritual realm. We didn't really do that in Seventh-day Adventism. And so I just wanted to say that, yeah, I like learning from y'all and growing and just really just learning and really trusting myself, leaning into self-belief and leaning into the knowledge. When you lean away from religion, you see how impactful it is in every space in our communities. And even when you're not religious. And so now that I am not religious, it's a lot to, I think it's so interesting because you have to deal with a lot as a non-religious person.
Yeah.
You have to put up with a lot of radical talk, of nonsensical talk, of people just asking to pray for you or inviting you to their church or their spiritual space. And I said in the comments, I was joking that my brother-in-law is getting his ass whipped by his baby mama, so he leaning into religion real hard. And so, he walked 3 miles to a men's group just a few days ago. I'm like, bro, he going through it right now.
Yeah,
so,
he is.
And
going through that booty gospel.
He needs your energy right now. That's what he asking for. He's not asking for no prayers.
He got 3 white baby mamas and they whooping his ass right now, of course. So he's going through it.
Yeah, he's asking you for your energy. Yeah.
Like, God, please help me.
Yeah, you feel me? He needs that right now. Word up.
All right, guys. I think we're probably gonna have Turned Up. You're probably gonna be my last guest, Turned Up, because I do gotta get out of here, and my wife is giving me death stares. Because I've been on stream for so long, but I'm gonna get off in a second. But
I understand. I feel you, brother. I'm only here because of my wife. So
it's a good stream. I appreciate this.
No problem. We're just gonna have one last one, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But Turned Up, are you 18 or over? And do you think you could give me a good reason to believe in a God?
yes, sir. I am 18 over, and yes, sir. I think I have a good point. I'm not here to debate or argue anybody or anything like that, but my only point would be because there are so many religions and because there are atheists or whatever you want to believe, that would be my reason right there that there's a God. Because he gave us that free will, we're all going to the same place. So whether it's, let's just take it into terms of just a US map or the world, let's just say we all want to meet up at one place, right? There's a lot of ways to get there. No one can tell you which route to take as long as you end up there, So that would be my reason to believe there's a God. He gave us all the free way to get to him, no matter how that way is.
Gotcha. All right. So for me, that presupposes that there's a God in the first place, right? And that's kind of putting the cart before the horse, because you're saying that there's all these different people who believe in different things, people who don't believe. God gave us free will, right? But we have to actually deduce or have some sort of evidence of why such a creature would exist in the first place, instead of just assuming that one does. But I do have Caddy on the stage that's been patient, and I think he wants to chime in on this as well. Caddy, you still there?
I heard from him, yeah.
That was great, babe.
I'll come. I guess I'll come up with the topic through a Hindu understanding and a science understanding. We know thermodynamics says energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but in an infinite model, energy cannot be created nor destroyed infinitely. The interconnected relationship with you between that energy is one and the same, because without the things that are in space, you cease to exist. The sun, the moon, the gravity, the space. Without those things, you cease to exist. So there's an interconnected relationship with your biology and that which is. You are that which is having an experience in Hinduism. When we talk about when you talk about people having different spiritual experiences, that is because devotion is a powerful tool. It is a tool that can leave one's perception beyond physicality, but it's based in karmic memory. Karmic memory is one part biology, your biology, your ancestors' biology, and your soul's biology. And so what happens is your perception of things is largely made up by a profound sense of memory.
Exactly.
And you know how indoctrination works through sociology, nature, nurture, right? Well, that's your biology, that's your biological memory. When we talk about your soul's memory, that's your past lives and your memory from past lives. It plays karmically in your every lifetime that you take, every lifetime that you take.
DNA, exactly.
Gotcha. So yeah, I understand it because you've explained a little bit of your path of Hinduism to me before. It's more on the physics and the forces of reality working all together, and us kind of being here experiencing it all together, right? Like the afterlife is more of the memories you have of the person, not really some sort of soul that passes to the other plane of existence.
Can I dive in a little bit more for you? When in Hinduism we have the chakra system, right? Well, the chakra system is the energy centers for, and what lies in those energy centers is particular energies associated with your body, and those frequencies, depending on your karma, can be higher or lower. So the higher and lower nature in energy exists within yourself. And the chakras end up being portals when you activate them. If you don't activate them correctly, this is why guru is important. This is why initiation is important, because without the guidance of a guru, you can't really navigate this kind of landscape spiritually correctly. You go into spiritual psychosis without the initiation of a high priestess, a guru, a shaman, a tribal leader. This is the importance of the tribal leader and the guru and the disciple.
Yeah, I got you, Caddy. It's just like it's it is all very, very interesting. It's just from me when I'm hearing it.
To me, bro. And that's what I was trying to say.
Hold on,
wordplay, but yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this sounds more naturalistic to me than it is like a paranormal. Honestly, tell you the truth. But let me get back to you, Caddy. So yeah, turns up. What I want to say is that when you say that a good reason to believe in a God is just because we have free will because God gave it to us, that sounds circular and putting the cart before the horse. How do we show that the God actually exists first before we say He gave us free will?
He never said God though. He mentioned about chakras and this and the energy.
No, not Caddy. I'm talking about Turn.
Oh, my fault. I apologize. My fault.
Oh yeah. With that, I mean, I don't read the Bible, so when you talk about the beginning and all that, the heavens and the earth, I don't get too deep into that. But just there's a lot of things on this earth that we can't explain. Still, right now today, with all the science and technology that we have, there's things that the human mind can never even fathom. I mean, can never even think about. And for that, like it doesn't matter if it's a God or a Big Bang Theory. We came from somewhere. We started from somewhere, and something created that. Something had to start from somewhere.
Right.
And for me personally, I've gone through things where, bro, my car was split in half, and I lived through that. They had to resuscitate me 3 times. I can't explain that at all. But I'm here right now, and I don't think that's just because my body is strong enough to live. My body can only do so much because our bodies die out. So that got to be spirit, or even if you want to look at it, the stars, the astronomy, whatever. But to believe, I don't think we have to believe in the beginning just to know there's a God. I don't think
so. Here's what I would say. Your body can do it because it did. Yeah, I mean, so it can do it. So because your body did, yeah, it can. You know what I mean? No. Hold on. Everybody pause. So what I'm saying is that there's literally no spirits or gods necessary with that, right? Now, of course, existence in of itself, right? Something can't come from nothing. So existence in of itself is a mystery. Existence had to there's some reason why things exist. Even if we don't know that yet, that's not true. Enough for me to put a God in there. You know what I'm saying? Because we can just say existence is a thing because of a simulation, and we're all plugged into the matrix.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
It could be,
There's no.
It could be an accident. See, God is just a word that what people made up. It could be called an accident, but it's still an accident that created us. Exactly. It don't matter if we gave it a name that's God or leader or it's still a name that.
Right. So I said this. Right. I said this earlier. The reason. Right. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I said this earlier. The reason why, I think the word creation is heavy-handed because creation it implies something deliberate, like there was an actual agent that did something for us to be here. And that's what I mean when I say that there's no evidence of that being the case.
I want to chime in real quick because creation.
Because you look at what you see, it's everything is created, bro. Like when you go outside, the plants are created. Everything's like, and I'm not talking about buildings and stuff because that's man-made. We know the difference between man-made and then regular
something
creation.
natural.
Exactly, something natural.
Right. The thing is, I don't. Right. I know. Yeah. Right. So I don't conflate things that happen in a natural world with creation. Like I don't conflate those things because again, creation implies deliberate something deliberate.
Can I come in for a minute?
Go ahead, Caddy.
The principle of creation, preservation, and destruction. These principles are interconnected and they're intertwined with each other. They're not one without the other. You need preservation to keep things in line and keep things in check, and you need destruction so renewal can happen. So things can, so things can cleanse and things can renew. So you need destruction for that part. Creation is just one part of the principle in cyclic nature. When we're looking at the universe and energy as cyclic, as always has been. It never had a creation point. It has a creation principle, which has the conditions that create things. But without the other principles, it ceases to be because creation needs preservation to hold its creation in balance. And destruction needs to come through to renew things, So creation, preservation, and destruction are cyclic and natural in our existence.
Right. So So the cycles that we see of things, starting, living, and dying, that's just a universal principle, right? A universal thing. The only difference with me is that I don't add anything paranormal to that. It's just something that happens because of quantum mechanics and physics. If that makes sense.
No, bro, you Haitian, bro.
Yeah, I'm
so the Haitian people, and like you said, right, like the Haitian, and I'm not gonna front. My girl's Haitian, but she's Americanized Haitian, right? So she don't believe in the voodoo and this and that there. But there are people who are the old Haitians that actually, like we say, because we're going over the word. They actually believed in it. They did it, and then they did this. So to them, it was real to them. You feel me? So who are we to say that it wasn't real to them because they believed in it and then they saw it manifest in their eyes? Who are we to say that that's not real?
I got Right. I'll answer that in a second. But Minister had a question for me. Minister, go ahead.
I was going to ask, it's funny because he mentioned it right at the end. I was going to ask if you have ever personally experienced seeing the spirit, because your friend that you grew up with and the cookout both mentioned something about you being Haitian and them being heavy in like spiritual beliefs, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you yourself have experienced that. So you really would have no reason to believe it.
Yeah, when I grew up in church, I experienced stuff like I experienced things. You feel what I'm saying? Like the thing is, let me clear this up. I don't doubt what people experience. I'm pretty sure you experience something. The only thing that I add the caveat is, what are you attributing that experience to? You see what I'm saying? Like because when we're in church, right? Like Rapson will tell you, when we were in church, we felt that we quote unquote caught the Holy Ghost, right? That feeling of euphoria or whatever. But however, that same type of feeling, you can find it in a Beyonce concert or a Taylor Swift concert, or we've seen those videos of people passing out. Hold on, Cook. We've seen those videos of people passing out when Michael Jackson jumped on stage. You know what I'm saying? So those same type of those same type of feelings you can get almost anywhere. So whenever I say that, I don't doubt that those people experience something. It's always what I say, what are they attributing it to? Because every single spiritual experience can be experienced through natural means, even by taking an edible. You see what I'm saying? You can experience those same type of things. People who have been on mushrooms. Yeah, people have been on mushrooms have said they've had spiritual experiences. So you can have those in other different ways. It doesn't necessarily make the spirits real. It just means that your mind is a powerful
Right, you're unlocking
gift.
a different
Yes.
portion of your brain that we don't
Question though
use.
about the Holy Ghost, right? So remember Pastor Phil?
I remember Pastor Phil. Yeah.
So Pastor Phil from Trinity, right? He spoke about a situation where he was being born. His grandmother, who was super spiritual lady, was in that operating room praying because they were saying that he was about to die. Right. So while she's praying, she gets into praying in tongues, right? Now the irony is that the person who was doing performing the delivery was Ukrainian. Right. Do you know that his grandmother, who was a white American, was speaking in Ukrainian, pretty much praising God in Ukrainian, and the lady understood everything she said.
Wow.
That's the energy connection. That's the connection.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Because we all under, to me, is the energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, all these plants was made. Everything was made. Like us as black people, and I didn't want to go this route, but us as black people, right? We have melanin. We have a different type of melanin in our skin than white people have in their skin, right? So like even with the plants, right? The plants, they actually have chlorophyll. They have this in their system that the plants, bro, the plants is always gonna be here. You can't kill off plants, bro. Somebody, I'm not gonna say somebody because I don't want to use that, but it was made to be that way. So when I say universal law is universal law. It was just made, it was created by a certain thing, and then it just let it happen. There's nobody sitting here telling you, yo, be a good person, be a bad person, do this and do no. You was created by this certain energy field. It was made and be created, and that shit just said, boom, live your life. Just like how you got Saturn. Nobody know what's going on in Saturn. You don't go on Saturn. You don't know what's going on Jupiter. There's galaxies out here that's been made.
All right, guys, I got to go ahead and get out of here. But I do want to say one last thing before I get out of here, right? So when it comes to that story of that person praying for somebody and then started switching to Ukrainian, right? So a few weeks ago, I bought a box of Eddie Winslow's, right? When I say Eddie Winslow's, yeah, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I bought a box of Eddie Winslow's. I cut it into a quarter, and I took a quarter of that Eddie Winslow. While I started to get lifted, I saw in the sky a fifth dimensional creature who perceives me the same way that I perceive a goldfish. Did I just go to the fifth dimension? Or was I just really high?
No, your mental formation.
High enough to go to the
recorded.
fifth dimension.
That's exactly what I was going to say, bro.
I was just really, really high.
Hey,
so
they can create. They're creating pills now. They already have pills that can go inside of us and help us, right? Like headaches, whatever, migraines, whatever you have, whatever you need. But if you took a whatever and you got uplifted, that just means that's a gateway to help you understand what's out there. Because being in your normal state, you will never understand it, bro. And I can promise you that. You got to think about people who have been in comas before. They'll come out of a coma and tell you something you ain't never even heard.
And
you know what I'm saying? So there's
there
a
are
gateway
people,
to a lot of other galaxies out here. Like bro said, galaxies and all that.
I got you. And there are people who come out of comas and it's all absolutely nothing, right? So until we can actually show that these things are actually real, that's why I say there's no real reason to believe it, right? All right, so y'all, I do gotta get out of here, y'all, and I do appreciate everybody who came on up. You guys are wonderful. I hope y'all have a good night. Once again, y'all come to the Black Atheist Skeptics and Humanist Cookout. The Bash Cookout. I appreciate you being up here, Kat. I gotta learn more about Hinduism from you. Please come to the Black Atheist Skeptics and Humanist Cookout. I do appreciate everybody being here. I am going to go ahead and get out of here. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. There we go. Please go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube. Again, the channel is Volsy Thoughts. You can find me on there. For everybody who has been watching me on YouTube, I do appreciate you all. Shout out to Lilith, shout out to Jackie, shout out to Secular Smoke, shout out to King of the Earth. You guys are wonderful. I do gotta get out of here. My YouTube is Volsy Thoughts, VOLCY Thoughts. You can also find me on the Black Atheist Coalition. The link is all in my bio. You can go ahead and take a look at it. And I'm going to be out here for tonight. Yeah, they get me to 21K likes. Try to get me to 50K next time. I appreciate y'all.